my name is Jake. I'm back here with number 98 of my top 102 album countdown, and today it is Bright Eyes' modern classic, I'm Wide Awake, It's Morning. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Bright Eyes, they're kind of an indie folk trio formed around 1995 when Conor Oberst was just 15, believe it or not. The band consists of three multi-instrumentalists, Mike Mogus, Nate Walcott, and the man himself, Conor Oberst. This album was released on January 25th, 2005, and as most of you probably know, Bright Eyes released another studio album on this same exact day, Digital Ash and a Digital Urn. I really hope this album grows on me, because it's kind of their foray into electronic music, and I respect it. I respect that they're not making the same album over and over again. That one is just not for me, as of right now. This album, however, I remember the first time I listened to it, and it immediately felt classic. It's one of those albums, the first time you listen to it, you know it's something extremely special. I kind of grew up with a lot of music of this scene from this time, and this actually wasn't one of the ones that I, knew, as a kid, but it just blended right in perfectly. It's such, Connor's words especially, really, he is a master wordsmith. He's obviously, he's probably one of the best songwriters we have today. I personally would put him up there with the best of them of all time. But, different strokes for different folks, I guess. Now, before I get into the songs on here, I just wanted to say I'm gonna take a slightly different approach to how I usually review track by tracks on this channel. Instead of, approaching, song structures, certain parts or vocal performances, instruments I like best, whatever, I'm going to be looking at, certain lyrics per song. I'm going to take about maybe 2 lyrics per song and really, say the ones that really stick out to me the most and just, kind of elaborate a little bit, just say what I think of them. Because Bright Eyes is a very, very lyrically centered act, for sure. It is kind of the heart and soul of the music. The instrumentation on the whole album is great, from, the pedal steel on a lot of the songs to, it's just, the whole thing's great. When it's just him and the guitar, it's all good stuff. But the lyrics are definitely what I'm going to be talking about here. Now, onto the songs. Track 1, At the Bottom of Everything. This is a brilliant song. It's pretty famous, I think, for the about a minute-long spoken word intro about, 2 strangers who are in a crashing plane, and the rest of the song is just, one of the passengers singing to the other about all this stuff, and it's so well done. I love Connor's social commentary on this song, especially the lyric where he says, "We must blend into the choir, sing as static with the whole. We must memorize 9 numbers and deny we have a soul." I don't know, the sad thing is, when you grow up and you know exactly what he's talking about. My favorite lyric, for sure, however, is definitely the closing line where he says, "I'm happy just because I found out I am really no one." And I love that so much. It's like, Connor is great at normalizing not only being alone, but feeling alone. I've always felt that way myself, I've always been kind of a loner, first, that's just how I was, and after a little while, it's definitely became by choice, and it's for sure, that is the best way I can describe it. It's just, making sense of the loneliness and messiness of life, It's more than just, like Elliott Smith, it's more than just depressing music to bum out to, it's really makes you think about life and whatnot. Also, the chorus does feature backing harmonies by Jim James, who is the lead singer of My Morning Jacket, who I have been getting a little bit into recently. Their live album, Okonokos, I'm totally saying that wrong probably, but It is absolutely quality stuff. Definitely check that one out. Track 2, We Are Nowhere, and It's Now. Beautiful song. It's a very, I think, relatable song about just trying as hard as you can to find hope amidst depression and whatnot. The one that cut to the bone for me is, Why are you scared to dream of God when it's salvation that you want? I think a lot of people need to hear that. My other favorite being, See stars that clear have been dead for years. The idea just lives on. See, that could mean whatever. He could just be talking about, rock stars or movie stars, whatever, just remembering their legacy, their ideas. It could, that's most likely, I think, what he's talking about. And it's a really sort of beautiful way to put it. Also, this song features amazing vocal harmonies from the great Emmylou Harris, who I believe I forget who it was, but someone said that she could harmonize with a chainsaw. And I have never read anything more accurate. She sounds beautiful with just about anything or anyone. Track 3, Old Soul Song for the New World Order. This is a protest song, as in it's literally about going to a protest. For those of you that know anything about Conor Oberst, you know he's vehemently anti-Bush, and this was released during Bush's second term. So, not to be controversial on this channel, but Connor, I feel you. I know what you mean. The one lyric here that really stands out to me is, but the crowd kept pushing forward till they swallowed the police. I just love that visual imagery so much. My favorite part of this song is the ending, where Connor just shouts the chorus, and they went, why? It's, oh my gosh, his passion is absolutely infectious. And I mean, this is one of the songs you really feel it. Track 4, Lua. This is an essential Bright Eyes song. Everyone that's heard this song knows how beautiful and important this song is. It was even featured in the video game Life is Strange, or at least on the soundtrack. I have actually never played that game. However, the soundtrack, perfect. This song is basically depression and substance abuse in a nutshell. And it's captured very sadly yet poetically. And it's, anyone who's heard this knows it's one of the most beautiful songs ever made. When everything is lonely, I can be my own best friend. Just another great lyric about embracing loneliness. I don't see a lot of that. I see a lot of artists complaining about how lonely they are. That's fine. I get it. It's sad. But I really definitely relate to that. Just being, after a while, it's just, okay, is what it is. I can't do anything about it. It's all good, I know this song's kind of sadder than that, but you catch my drift. Another great lyric is, "'Cause what is simple in the moonlight by the morning never is." I don't know, there's like an unspeakable depression that's looming in that one line. And only Connor, man. Only Connor. Track 5, Train Underwater. This is another fantastic one. It seems to me about sort of grief and just the general adjusting of life afterwards. And once again, it is captured very beautifully on this song. The opening lines really say it all. It says, "You were born inside of a raindrop. I watched you falling to your death. And the sun, well, she could not save you. She'd fallen down too. Now the streets are wet." It's just, I don't know how he does it. It's like, you see this person, like, you kind of know that they're not gonna make it to 100, put it that way. But you just so desperately wish you could do something about it. That's what that says to me, at least. I could be totally misinterpreting it, but I like to think songs just are open to interpretation anyways, so there's that. Track 6, First Day of My Life. This is the Bright Eyes song. This is the one by them that everyone knows and loves, myself included. I mean, it's like, it's not one of the greatest love songs ever written. It's one of the greatest songs about love ever written. I love the line, yours is the first face that I saw. I think I was blind before I met you. It's great at capturing the start of the relationship and then seeing that, it's not always, fun and happy all the time. You know, there's even a line towards the end, she says, I'm glad I didn't die before I met you, but now I don't care. I could go anywhere with you and I'd probably be happy. I know that's like kind of going back to the start of the song, but like, the way it kind of just all ties up, it's really, I mean, a lot of people say he like crapped on it by making it realistic, honestly. I wouldn't go that far, but as much as songs can be an escape and, a fantasy, they should also be about, reality and what it is, the actuality of everything, and if that turns people off, so be it. Track 7, another traveling song. This is a song about, well, this one's pretty good. There are some really good lyrics on here, such as, so I go back and forth forever, all my thoughts they come in pairs. I love that. Possibly he's alluding to bipolar disorder, but it's really, I love that description right there. I relate to that for sure. And my absolute favorite being, oh, and mornings at my window, she's sending me to bed again. Probably one of the most accurate lyrics relating to depression I've ever read. Also, Emmylou, once again, sounds amazing on here, as well as on the next song. Track 8, Landlocked Blues. This one is interesting. This balances a breakup song, which Connor is kind of like a connoisseur of, and themes of like the Iraq War that was going on at the time, and it manages to weave these two themes together in the most realistic and sort of seamless way possible. Like, it never feels like, oh, that really didn't fit in there. Everything in this song works perfectly. By far, one of the most accurate descriptions of being an adult. And the future hangs over our heads, and it moves with each current event until it falls around like a cold, steady rain. Just stay in when it's looking this way. I mean, it's kind of saying, like, the future's inevitable. There's no use in prolonging something that's gonna happen anyway. Or just, when it happens, just stay in. Just ignore it. I think that's definitely a constant struggle with most people, certainly. Most adults my age, I would most certainly think. But greed is a bottomless pit, and our freedom's a joke. We're just taking a piss, and the whole world must watch the sad comic display. I'm not so much of an optimist or a pessimist so much as I am a realist, and when Connor's cynicism is rooted in realism, because I mean that's exactly how I feel. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. And before you guys hop in my comments calling me a libtard, there's a little more to me than that. I'll elaborate probably in another video way down the road. But, it's not as black. I'm not as black and white as you think I am. Just take that in mind. Track 9, Poison Oak. This is hands down my favorite song on the album. One of my top 5 Bright Eyes songs, probably. It's about a deceased friend or relative of Connor's. No one is sure exactly who but Connor, so, I mean, it's a beautiful song regardless. And I'm glad you got away, but I'm still stuck out here. My clothes are soaking wet from your brother's tears. That is one of the most accurate descriptions of grief I've ever seen in a song, to tell you the truth. The other person, they're off this mortal coil. We have to pick up the pieces. is what it is. One more lyric to sort of complete the embracing loneliness trifecta. Now I'm drunk as hell on a piano bench, and when I press the keys, it all gets reversed. The sound of loneliness makes me happier. I mean, Connor is very sort of, satirical in his lyrics, so he could just, he's very backhanded, so he could just be being like, I'm embracing it, but I'm really not. That maybe it's something like that, but, maybe I'm just a sociopath, and I don't like being around people. I don't know, I'm just messing, but, I mean, it's maybe my favorite lyric on the whole album. It puts such a perfect, like, ribbon on the whole thing, really. Track 10, final track, Road to Joy. My oh my, what a closer this is. Oh my gosh, this is a song. This is a song. I mean, obviously, if you couldn't tell from the title, the melody is based on Beethoven's Ode to Joy. It's basically Connor's cynicism of the whole world's cruelty, both in his personal life and just in the general world, in a nutshell, pretty much. And that is a very relatable concept, indeed. I mean, the world sucks sometimes, let's just face it. It's not always the best place, The whole song is a lyrical masterwork, I think. The one lyric that's probably my personal favorite, he says, I read the body count out of the paper, and now it's written all over my face. I think that's a great lyric, because, like I said earlier, this came out during the Iraq War, and is like, you see all this stuff on the news and in the paper, and you just become desensitized to it. Like, you're just supposed to carry on with your day, and Connor's just kind of, sane and not desensitized to it, and it's just, I appreciate that honesty and that vulnerability in a song more than anything. Overall, this hasn't been a very fun video. I'm sorry. Overall, if you are one of those people whose main interest when it comes to music is the lyrics, these are some of the best lyrics you'll ever hear. I mean, Connor, I think, is a genius in his own right. And honestly, I mean, it's one of the most emotionally raw albums I've ever heard. It's definitely, it's a sobering listen, but you'll definitely, I think, by the end, you will be more than happy that you took that trip, because I think this is an album that everyone needs to listen to tell you the truth. Just little reality check. It's still, I mean, it's a masterpiece. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you guys so much for watching this probably depressing video. If you have any requests or anything you want me to talk about, movie or music related, just drop it down below in the comments. My name is Jake. I'll be back.